Jimmy Fallon welcomes the Jonas Brothers. NBC Tonight.
Tonight on Dateline.
I heard Brenda say he's dead. And I said, who's dead? She said, it's Jonathan. So you're on trial and you can't see. That's the memory I will never be able to forget.
You ever hear him ever talk about having suicidal thoughts?
No. That's not something Jonathan would have done.
It either had to be suicide or murder.
The Chinese delivery guy shows up and he could hear fighting. She didn't show up with you. They started telling us we don't have an app.
There's going to be an answer you're going to have to find. What's the last thing you
The start of the trial was incredibly tense. The family had a lot riding on this. The verdict is being delivered. It was a really surreal moment. The thing I really wanted was for Jonathan to be vindicated. I wanted his legacy to be the true legacy.
A young life ended. Death by suicide or something darker. Follow along as his family takes an extraordinary step to try to solve the mystery. I'm Lester Roll, and this is Dateline. Here is Josh Mankiewicz with Behind Door 813. Super Bowl Sunday 2014. Seahawks, Broncos. And like millions of Americans, Emily and her boyfriend Jacob were headed to a party. They were hoping to spend time with the best friend Jacob and Emily share, a guy named Jonathan Cruz. That night, Jonathan had other
See you, buddy.
See you, man.
All right, love you.
He was supposed to
Happy
hang
birthday,
out with
Paul.
us, and he was insistent that he wanted to stay in his apartment.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you.
Jonathan had just moved into a new apartment here in the city of Capel, just outside Dallas, and he had a long to-do list. Emily texted him during the party.
One of the couples that we were there with, they had a couch that they were selling, and I texted Jonathan, pictures of it, and they were saying, hey, these people are selling a couch. Somebody from my work is also selling one. I'll send you a picture of that in a little bit.
She didn't know that not long after the game, a call would come into 911. On the other end was a voice full of fear.
Oh my God.
That panic voice belonged to Brenda Lazaro, 26-year-old teacher and martial arts instructor. Brenda was Jonathan's girlfriend. They were together in his apartment, wherever that was. What's the name of the apartment? Brenda said she didn't know the exact address. Jonathan had just moved in a week earlier. Trying to get someone there. Do you have mail? Do you have any mail or anything that you can give me to exact address?
No, there's no one in here. There's just me.
Use the gun.
Yes, he is a gun. I just didn't want to get too much on. I'm just pressing on it.
The 911 operator asked Brenda to see if the neighbor could give her the address. Find a name or something.
Eric is the boss.
River Chase? Okay. With that, first responders were on their way. Jonathan's parents, John and Ann Cruz, were home that night with their daughter Danny and their other son Christian. They were just a few miles from Jonathan's new apartment.
We had just settled down. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and Danny and I had taped a TV show that we watched every Sunday, and we had just turned it on when her phone rang.
It was Brenda.
It was hard to understand her. She was just screaming the whole time, and I heard her say, he's dead. And I said, who's dead? And she said, it's Jonathan. And then my parents started, like, what's going on? And so she walked to the end of my room, And she said Brenda said Jonathan shot himself. And John made just this horrible noise and jumped out of bed. I don't know how he did this, but he was in clothes and running down the hallway less than 30 seconds.
When we get there, we can, whatever it is, I can fix it. Capel police arrived at 11:40 p.m.
It was chaotic. There were police everywhere. There were several emergency vehicles. It was crazy.
This is what body cameras recorded as officers reached the door of Jonathan's apartment and spoke to Brenda.
Where's he at? Okay, just stay out here, okay? Alright, okay, another officer's coming, okay? 213, I'm gonna be here.
The first officer entered the apartment and smelled gunpowder.
Send in the fire department.
Paramedics were on the scene, but it was already too late.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
Officers found Jonathan Cruz lying in his bed with a gunshot wound to his chest. He was 27 years old. I remember walking up to the police officer.
What's going on? What's your name, sir?
John, I could have just didn't believe I asked him 3 times. Is he okay? And he told me 3 times he was gone.
Unfortunately,
The last thing on my mind at that point was what happened. I mean, just trying to absorb the idea that he was not like one of the witness. It was about all my brain and emotions could deal with. Moments after John and Danny arrived at the apartment came Jonathan's mom, Pam. When do you see each other? What do you say? You know, honestly, it's kind of a blur. I remember us all hugging at one point.
John just kept trying to get to Jonathan.
It's just fun to see.
I couldn't see him. But I went, you know, your kids, you always think, oh, these little newborn babies, you know. And you just always look back and then, you know, couldn't see my baby with a hole bullet through it.
At this point, the only story this family had heard boiled down to 3 simple words. Jonathan shot himself. And that simple story raised a lot of complicated questions. Could this really be suicide? Or maybe something else altogether?
I concluded that Brenda must be wrong. There must have been an intruder in the house that shot Jonathan.
It was just after midnight, and a years-long search for answers was just getting started.
and we're done.
What about these?
Looks right.
The quicker picker upper. When you gotta get it done, 1 sheet is all you need. And Bounty is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less and get the job done with more. This works. Bounty, the quicker picker. These cheesy buffers so cheesy, airy, and puffy. How'd you do it?
After I had 5,000, anything to be greatly happy.
Cheese and puff, defy your expectations.
The siren really gets my heart going, but it doesn't save my sweat. I'm always racing against time, feeling the heat of the moment.
You were limited by degree. Response to sweat, pain, and stress. Unlimited protection, so you can live without limits. But
active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. Now, Skyrizi helps me get going by treating my skin and joints. All significantly clearer skin. Skyrizi helps me with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Skyrizi attaches to and reduces a source of excess inflammation that can lead to skin and joint symptoms. With Skyrizi, 90% clearer skin and less joint pain is possible.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or lower other life occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms and a vaccine alternative.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like improving my skin and joints. And that means every day. Now's the time to talk to your doctor about how Skyrizi can help treat your psoriatic arthritis so you can get going. Learn how happy and okay safe.
Hi, I'm Molly Shannon, and I will be hosting Prince and Elvis Week with musical guest Jonas Brothers. Skyscraper at SNL Easter egg hunt.
Oh, we can't participate.
Really, why not?
Ron said we're not allowed to have chocolate. It makes us too hungry.
Huh, interesting.
Next week on Today,
When? I'm in.
we're the cast of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel stops by.
Good morning!
Plus, Katie Holmes and Jennifer Garner. Live next week on Today.
Family of Jonathan was in their home in Stone this morning. The news of his apparent suicide. What were you thinking?
Not much of anything. Just kind of in shock, and I didn't really know what to do or what to think.
We're out of our minds at that. There's no rationality at all.
I was thinking Ambien, and Ambien was like,
Jonathan's close friend Emily woke up that morning after the Super Bowl with a bad feeling. She got a strange text from Jonathan after the game.
I plugged my phone in, and a text message popped up, and it was from Jonathan. It said, "I want to die, period."
You ever heard him say anything like that before?
No.
Emily says when she first saw the text, she didn't take it literally. She thought maybe Jonathan was having a bad night or being dramatic. Now it was morning. She hadn't heard from him again.
I think I tried to call his phone. He didn't answer, and I looked at Jacob and said, "You don't think something happened, right? And this is just so weird."
Emily decided to drive over to Jonathan's. Before she could get there, the family called Jacob with the horrible news.
And then I got a phone call from Jacob, and all that I could make out that he was saying was Jonathan is dead, and he's been shot. I'm pissed and confused. Like, how did he get shot? I don't know where he got shot.
He and everyone close to Jonathan did know. Jonathan was a gun enthusiast and kept several firearms in his place. How many guns did he have? Probably half a dozen, maybe.
I didn't really like the guns. I'd shoot with him. He was the one that first taught me to shoot.
Police determined the gun that killed Jonathan was indeed one of his own. Guns had been a part of his family's life for generations. Now, the entire family was in pieces.
I showed up at their house, and his family was just in a daze.
For those early, numb moments of grief, all anyone could think of was Jonathan. Such a young life, lost.
We're very close family, but he was kind of the ringleader for everything that happened.
He seemed to greet every day with an excitement for what was going to happen. He was the one that always brought the party, you know?
I met him in 8th or 9th grade. I kind of fell into the dirty group, and Jonathan came in. He was tall, handsome, pretty athletic.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah, he was a cool guy for a while, and he kind of became friends with my group.
Best friends went on to be roommates at Baylor University, where Jonathan majored in history. After college, he wanted to save for grad school. So Jonathan, a snappy dresser who loved colorful neckties, worked as a manager in the men's department at Dillard's. That's where he met Emily.
We had very similar personalities. We would always kind of joke that I was like the female version of him.
When you guys very briefly went out.
So we went on one date. He asked me to go out to dinner and drinks one night, and I looked
pretty much the same person. It would be weird for me to date myself.
And that was it. After that, you guys were friends.
Yes, really good friends.
Such good friends that Jonathan later played matchmaker.
Me, Jacob, and Jonathan had gone out to drinks one night, and Jacob left and went to the bathroom. And I looked at Jonathan and I go, I think I like your friend. He goes, okay, I'm cool with that. I'll help you. And then that night, I think we kind of conspired together.
Conspired.
So,
That's actually not against you. That's
yeah, right? You're married now.
along with his tight circle of friends. Much of Jonathan's life started to revolve around this place, Yi Shaolin, a martial arts school in a Capel strip mall. And it became a family affair. Jonathan, Ann, and Danny all took classes there and practiced kung fu.
There were a lot of social events. You know, people hung out a lot. There were, you know, friendships and cliques made within the schools.
It was there Danny first met Brenda Lazaro. She was originally from Mexico and a part-time instructor at the martial arts school. Brenda is your best friend.
Yes. She was one of the leaders in the school, and I actually said to Jonathan sometime, you know, this girl Brenda seems like a nice girl. Maybe you would be interested in her.
Jonathan was interested.
She came and said, I know you're best friend. Sure. And I did, in fact, my one stipulation was, don't ruin my friendship with her. Like, don't come between us or anything like that.
And he promised he wouldn't do that.
Promise.
Jonathan and Brenda began dating in November 2013. Sparks very quickly turned to fire, and Brenda told friends she thought Jonathan was the
Very giving, very full throttle, I would say. You know, he was a person that
Immersed himself fully into relationships.
Brenda seemed to be no exception. If she and Jonathan worked together, they were constantly texting. Jonathan told his mom the relationship had become pretty intense. He said Brenda had gone through a rough childhood, that she had trust issues, and could be kind of insecure.
And so I said, why don't you give her a chance to see what it's like to be with a nice person? Because when she sees how loyal and wonderful you are, she'll start to be a little more secure.
3 months into that whirlwind of a romance, Jonathan decided to move out of his parents' house and get his own apartment. Brenda was out.
I believe she went with him looking for some places, yes. And she was there, she helped him move, she did all her parts and cleaning supplies and cleaned everything out.
To his mom and dad, Jonathan seemed to be embarking on his next chapter. He got a new job, a girlfriend, and so, as they sat, crushed, at the family home, the idea of suicide just didn't make sense.
I made a mental note of every area of his life. Everything was going so well in his life. And so I concluded that Brenda must be wrong. There must have been an intruder in the house that shot Jonathan. And she came in and found him that way and made an assumption.
Let me ask you this, which is not pleasant. At any time, Jonathan ever expressed any thoughts about taking his own life or hurting himself? Was he depressed?
No.
Possible that he was depressed or sad or miserable in some way and you missed it?
No, I actually think that Jonathan was in one of the best places that he'd ever been in his life.
What happened in Jonathan's apartment that night? The only witness to this tragedy had a story to tell.
And I just shut
Even when I was with the people I love, I was masking my depression. I was taking an antidepressant, but my depression symptoms still made me feel isolated. Is it just me? It's not just you. Many people experience a partial response to their antidepressant. That's had Rexulti. When added to an antidepressant, Rexulti was proven to reduce depression symptoms 62% more than the antidepressant. So you can build on your progress.
Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and actions, and worsen depression in children and young adults. Report fevers, difficulties, and confusion, which can be life-threatening or uncontrollable symptoms, which may be increased cholesterol, weight gain, high blood sugar, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness, holds you back, keep moving forward. Ask your doctor about adding Rexulti to your antidepressant. My name is Thomas Magnum. I'm a private investigator in Hawaii. How did we get here? Some very good luck on my part.
Eric's laid back. Nothing really ruffles his feathers. Brings a calm demeanor, which I think is really helpful, especially here in a severe weather situation. He is easygoing, adaptable, a calm, cool, collected one.
Being that first alert station, it's important to be there and let you know that we are keeping an eye on things. And we'll let you know what's going on and what to expect for the day to come.
Eric Wood, your first alert warning forecast.
With the Xfinity Tension Network, you have incident alerts per elements. Every device, in every room.
Why are you up here? With speeds like this, I can't even dream of what he'll be able to do.
Get Xfinity Internet for just $25 a month with no annual contract during our limited time launch celebration.
What a time to be alive.
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity.
Call Deja.
Morning, Bob.
Let's reschedule my action meetings.
I got you, girl. Don't worry about a thing.
I'm an performance dealer SUV. For pre-owners, see your local Ford dealer or visit buyfordnow.com today.
Liz Hurley. The area's most watched 5 o'clock news. You'll leave here dying, am I right?
On the night Jonathan Cruz died, and little Lily spoke with the only other person who was there. His girlfriend, Brenda Lazaro.
She was sitting on some stairs in the back of the car outside. And there was a police officer speaking to her. I walked up, asked what happened. And he basically said, go away.
Hey, sir, if you wouldn't mind, just let me talk to her for a minute, and then you can talk to her in a second.
Brenda began describing what happened that night at Jonathan's apartment.
Trains from here in town? Did they deliver?
Brenda said they ate, watched TV in bed, and talked. They were having a serious conversation about their relationship. She said at some points it became emotional.
What do you say? Say how you said it, okay?
He just said he love you. I'm gonna show you that I love you. And then he asked me to cover my ears, and I didn't see it because I didn't know he was gonna train.
So, you didn't know he had a gun in the house? You've never seen it before?
In the house, I didn't know that he had a gun in the house.
Where were you when all this happened?
I was with the edge of the bed sitting down on the floor.
And then what happened? You told me to cover your ears, right? Okay, what happened?
He asked me a few times to cover my ears, and I didn't want to do it. I told him no why. He just asked me to speak ears. He didn't say anything. And then I just had it. He shut me.
So, no intruder, as Jonathan's mom wondered. Brenda told police she was right there when Jonathan shot himself.
Brenda.
Police asked her to come with them to the station.
He was in there and he said a drink. That's the big thing that he's trying to make you a little more comfortable. That'd be alright with you?
In the back of the police car, Brenda sobbed. She was still crying inside the interview. It took about 20 minutes before she was calm enough to talk.
I mean, I know a little bit about you. Make sure that you're going to be okay. We need to know who to call. There's family that you have.
And then Brenda told police the story again.
He said he loved you.
By the time she finished, it was early morning. Later that day, she went to stay with Ruth's family.
I remember taking her face in my hands and looking at her and saying, this wasn't your fault. I thought, I need to help her so that she's not ruined for the rest of her life.
Brenda didn't say much to Jonathan's parents about what had happened that night. She did talk with her close friend, his sister Danny.
I asked her what happened, and she said that they were having a conversation.
About a fight.
She said that I think they'd had a fight earlier that day, but she said that it was calm. They were just having a conversation, and then he said, I'm going to prove how much I love you, and then pulled out a gun and shot himself, and he fell back onto the bed.
Danny thought Brenda's story sounded strange. Who shoots themselves to prove their love for someone else? He thought this is an accident.
I figured that must be what it must be an accident.
Jonathan's dad was hoping police would provide some clarity.
I'm sure they ask me things like, was he depressed and those kinds of things. So the thing that stands out is that he tried to impress upon me. Basically, don't think this was a suicide. Whatever the outcome is, don't believe that's what happened.
That was their big message.
That was their big message.
So it's almost like they're trying to make you feel better.
Well, I assume they had some reason for that statement. Like it wasn't just to make me feel better, but there were facts that supported that.
The gun's magazine was found not in the gun, but in a drawer. The weapon, a 6-hour 9mm, can hold a bullet in its chamber even without the magazine. So maybe Jonathan didn't know the gun was loaded.
What we heard, or what I realized was, at the very least, this was some sort of accident.
The family had no clear answers one way or the other as they raced for Jonathan's funeral.
So you're about a child in a casket. It's a mess never happened.
It was awful to see, like, I guess parents having to kind of, like, just, like, grieve people, like, next to a casket of their kid.
This is one of the toughest things I've ever done. It just kind of was a blur. I remember talking, and that's about it.
So many people who loved Jonathan paid their respects. Except for one. Brenda wasn't there.
She'd been texting me asking if she could wear jeans and asking me a dress, and so when she just didn't show up, I was like, that's so weird.
The family had saved her a seat up front with them. Her absence hardened a new fear.
People were concerned about her. We were afraid, maybe she'd done something to herself, or maybe something had happened to her.
The questions were piling up, and some of the potential answers didn't make sense. God said do something that took very seriously.
Took very seriously, right?
Ultomiris is for adults with generalized myasthenia gravis who are anti-acetylcholine receptor antibody positive. It is lasting control over your GMG symptoms, and Ultomiris is the only long-acting GMG treatment with weeks of freedom between infusions. Ultomiris can lower your immune system's ability to fight infections, increasing your chance of serious, life-threatening meningococcal and other types of infections. If not vaccinated, you must receive meningococcal vaccines at least 2 weeks before starting Ultomiris. And Ultomiris is urgent. You should also receive 2 weeks of antibiotics with your vaccines. Before starting Ultomiris, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions and medications. Ultomiris can cause reactions such as back pain, tiredness, dizziness, limb discomfort, or bad taste. Ultomiris is here. Ask your doctor about managing your generalized myasthenia gravis with Ultomiris.
Their new toasted baguette is loaded with fresh details, ripe tomatoes, melted mozzarella, and freshly made Green Goddess dressing. When they come together, those details become big. New toasted baguettes. Cater your next event with Panera.
You got a minute? How about all weekend? Let's go. Ahora, I'm a Miami Ultima. Looking for someone who loves technical elegance, times, and unexpected flavors. Someone who likes it hot but knows how to keep their cool. Like Sand Beach, where you can see the sunrise. Way better than whatever you were going to binge watch this weekend. You can be here half the time. Why me?
I used to pre-rinse dishes because my old detergent didn't actually get them clean. But new Cascade Platinum Plus has me doing dishes differently.
With double the grease-fighting power and double the scrubbing power, so you can load this and get this. New Cascade Platinum Plus. Dare to dish differently. The ABCs of CKD. A is for awareness, because knowing that your chronic kidney disease and type 2 diabetes could progress to dialysis. B is for belief that there may be more you can do. Just remember that K is for kidney. And Kerendia, for adults living with CKD and type 2 diabetes, Kerendia is proven to reduce the risk of kidney failure, which can lead to dialysis. Kerendia is a once-daily tablet that treats CKD differently than type 2 diabetes medications to help slow the progression of kidney damage and reduce the risk of cardiovascular events, such as heart attacks. Do not take Kerendia if you have problems with your adrenal glands or take certain medications called CYP3A4 inhibitors. Kerendia can cause hyperkalemia, which is high potassium levels in your blood. Ask your doctor before taking products containing potassium. Kerendia can also cause low blood pressure and low sodium levels. So now that you know your ABCs, remember K is for kidneys. And if you need help slowing kidney damage, ask your doctor about Kerendia.
Dear Dan, justice has no place in my life. I am not simply innocent. I am clearly innocent. Tell me, Dan, what's it gonna take? Letters from Sing Sing, an NBC News podcast. Listen now.
Jonathan Cruz's family believes he never would have shot himself, at least not on purpose. And yet the more they thought about it, the idea of an accident didn't fit either. Jonathan's grandfather had taught him and his brother all about guns from childhood.
He was teaching them about how to shoot gun safety all that from the time that, pretty young.
So, gun safety would not have been something new to John.
No, like he was very, 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 very careful with his guns.
I went hunting with him. He was always very careful about where the muzzle was pointed, if it was loaded or unloaded, depending on what he was doing.
He had more formal firearms training as he got older and shot competitively. Here he is on home video at a shooting range outside of town. Jonathan's parents believed there had to be another explanation. Maybe Brenda could help them understand. So where was she? It turned out Danny heard from her after the funeral. Brenda was alive and well.
And then she was like, well, I just couldn't do it. I'm too upset.
Danny could not understand why she didn't show him. You were upset that she wasn't there.
I mean, I thought it was a really cool thing to do.
As they exchanged messages on Facebook, things got tense. Brenda told Danny she was bothered by how the service had been planned.
She was very upset that their relationship was not the focal point of the funeral.
Their relationship.
Their relationship. She wanted the world to know about their love and how important it was to him.
Even though they've been together like 3 months and he's been with your family his entire life.
Exactly.
She thinks it should be about her.
Yeah.
When they started dating, Jonathan promised to keep his relationship with Brenda from affecting Danny's friendship with Brenda. Danny says she now realizes that was wishful thinking. Once Jonathan and Brenda were a couple, Danny started to see a side of Brenda she didn't like. So, what'd you observe?
A lot of weirdness.
Stuff you hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Like what?
So, before they even officially started dating, he and and I made plans to hang out on a Saturday. He kept getting text messages. And he was like, hey, so Brenda's really upset with me because she texted me this morning and wanted to spend the day together, but I'm not going to cancel plans that I've already made with you to meet with her. And she was complaining that he wasn't making her a priority in his life.
And they're like, what, 3 days old?
Yeah. I was like, priority? You just met her. What do you mean?
Another example. A few weeks into the relationship, the Cruz family took a vacation to Europe. Every little intro remembers Jonathan texting Brenda nonstop. They ended up going out for a short period of time.
Yes. And he spent a lot of time texting her to where we had to ask him, put it down when we're together, put it down when we're at dinner. She can wait for you to come back.
After they returned, Danny says it wasn't long before Brenda's jealousy arrived like the new sheriff in town. Suddenly, there were rules in this relationship. And Jonathan's new job was to follow them.
At one point, he wished a happy birthday to a female friend on Facebook that he hadn't spoken to in years. And she freaked out and wanted him to get rid of all of his female friends on Facebook.
Ridiculous or reasonable? People can disagree on that. Then, after Jonathan's funeral, this.
He wanted to change his Facebook page to a memorial page, and we couldn't access the Facebook.
She thought Brenda might have Jonathan's passwords.
I asked for that. She said, "You have to promise, we made the decision that he was going to remove all of his ex-girlfriends, so you have to promise me, because it's his wishes, that you won't add them back."
She's still thinking about that after he's dead?
Yes, that was like her one stipulation for giving us the password to his ex-girlfriends cannot be re-added to his Facebook.
So you went along with that?
Yeah. We agreed. We did what we had to do to get our access.
So, while Jonathan's family was frustrated with Brenda, close friends just plain skeptical about her story.
What do you mean, like, cover yours? I'm going to show you how much I love you. That's dumb.
He would have done
No. Also, like, who does that? That's not something Jonathan would have done. That's a weird story.
So it wasn't a made-up story. Could this be the opening act of a cover-up? Maybe something that up like Jonathan really well.
I mentioned Jonathan, it's not going to get better, because it's just escalating at this point.
Moving forward with node-positive breast cancer is overwhelming, but I never just found my way. I made it, and did all I could to prevent recurrence. Verzenio reduces the risk of recurrence of HR-positive, HER2-negative, node-positive early breast cancer with a high chance of returning, as determined by your doctor when eligible. Therapy. Therapy works outside the cell, while Verzenio works inside to help stop the growth of cancer cells. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, will cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an antidiarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsened trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be. I'm making my own way forward. Ask your doctor about everyday Verzenio.
I'm looking for my brother Luigi. He looks exactly like me, but tall and skinny.
And does he also have a breathtaking mustache? I will teach you how much you love him. Because you're probably never going to see him tonight. Was that too dark? Yes. Sorry. Excuse me, everybody! Come in!
I've gotten to be a part of some incredible coach performances over all these years. This season, it's going to be a blast. Be here to win, it's going to be incredible.
You might think a bad guy is sexy, but does he diversify himself? Does he have a healthy relationship with his mother? Does he prioritize the cleanliness of his vehicle? Predictable
Why are you up here? With speeds like this, I can't even dream of what he'll be able to do.
Get Xfinity Internet for just $25 a month with no annual contract during our limited time launch celebration.
You have no idea how good you got it. Well, what a time to be alive.
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. Where to go to do in Muscle Shoals, Florence, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweet spot.
Despite being one of Jonathan's best friends, Emily didn't know his girlfriend Brenda all that well. And so, she had a unique window into their relationship. Early on, Jonathan asked Emily and Jacob on a double date so they could meet Brenda.
We both gave him a really big hug like we normally do when we see him.
They say Brenda was quiet during the whole meal. So you're trying to draw her out a little bit.
Right, yeah.
And nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But later, I think he had texted me and said, like, oh, she's not feeling good. It's on my brain. I thought, okay, that's what she's going. I don't talk about when I'm sick.
Now, fast forward a couple of months to the day of Jonathan's death. The three friends met for brunch.
Jonathan started to get some text messages and seemed distracted by his phone. And then he started the conversation by saying, so Brenda has a problem with you. And I remember being very caught off guard because I was like, wait, what? Why? And he said, you know, she was really upset when you and I went to dinner that, like, I hugged you. And I'm like, why was she upset that I hugged you? That doesn't make any sense, especially since I was dating his best friend.
Jonathan tried to explain. He mentioned Brenda's difficult upbringing in Mexico.
He said that she'd been through a lot of traumatic things, and one of those being that her uncle was murdered in front of her by the cartel. And so, you know, her family had to flee Mexico and they weren't allowed to go back. So it made her hard to trust people.
Then Jonathan's phone rang. It was Brenda. And she wanted to talk to Emily.
When I took the phone, she literally was like screaming at me.
What she specifically did to you?
She was telling me that I was a disrespectful little girl for hugging her man and that I needed to stay away from him and keep my hands off of him. I said to her, I'm sorry if it bothers you that I hugged him, but he's my friend. I greet everyone that way. I'm not going to not hug him because that bothers you. I'm not interested in him. Like, it's never been like that. I've never even kissed him.
And that didn't go right.
No, she said afterwards, let me talk to my man. And I said, absolutely. And I handed Jonathan the phone.
And did you say, your crazy girlfriend wants to talk to you?
To be honest, I was a little bit overwhelmed. I handed him the phone and got up from the table and went to the bathroom and immediately started crying.
When Emily returned to the table, Jonathan tried to apologize.
He just kept on apologizing all over himself. I said, like, I know that you like her. Like, you're in a relationship with her. I don't want you to have to choose between your girlfriend and me. Right now, I don't want to be around her.
Emily didn't know it at the time. Brenda's issues with her had been a sticking point in the relationship since that first dinner. And in part because of that, Jonathan had been thinking about ending the relationship. A day earlier, he sent his sister Danny a text, laying out his options. Fight it and try to make it better, which won't happen. 2, choose Brenda. In other words, give up Emily. 3, refuse to give up either and see if Brenda ends it. 4, end it with Brenda now. And he decides out of those 4 choices to Dan.
Yes, said it's going to happen soon. He goes, you know, I'm really sorry. You know, I know this is a lot of drama, and you know, it has probably affected your relationship with her, and a breakup might ruin it further, and I'm really sorry because that was my one thing that I promised you.
Now, at brunch, after hearing Brenda lose it about Emily, told his friends what he was thinking. Jonathan would make it clear during that conversation that was going to be the end of his relationship with Brenda.
Very clear. Said several times that he was going to pack up all of her things and that he was absolutely done.
This is less than 24 hours from the end of Jonathan's life.
Right.
driving in the car back to his apartment, you know, everybody was just kind of quiet. And he all of a sudden got really tense and goes, oh my gosh, there's her car. And Jacob was like, Emily, we're just going to go. I don't want you to talk to her. I was like, of course I'm not going to talk to her. Like, she's a black belt, like, kung fu or whatever. She would pick me up.
Yeah, the next morning she heard Jonathan had been shot. Emily got told her something wasn't right. It was a feeling she could not shake.
I thought, you know, that she had done something to him. I knew Jonathan. I knew that he wouldn't have done this.
So then what about that text Emily received from Jonathan after the Super Bowl? I want to die.
Yeah.
Did he talk that way?
No.
Now, Jonathan, when he got stressed out, you know, I used to live with him, and what I know about him, he'd just go sleep. Him texting just that one little thing would have made sense. He would have said nothing at all, or he would have called her.
Emily and Jacob turned it over and over in their minds. You now do not believe Jonathan sent that text.
No.
You think that's Brenda after he dies?
Absolutely.
100%.
Raging jealousy. That unhinged phone call. Did those point to murder? That was how Emily and Jacob saw it. Now, the police agree.
If you needed to take your DNA, do you have a problem with us doing that?
The art of Italian lingerie.
My most important kitchen tool? My brain. So I choose the Revo Plus. Unlike some others, the Revo Plus is a multitasker supporting 6 key indicators. Brain health. Tell Katie Shaw. Revo. Think bigger.
Buddy, you need a hug. You also need consumer sympathy.
Get the exact same coverage as the nation's leading carriers and 100% U.S.-based customer support starting at $20. Consumer Cellular.
How to prep for a job interview. Step 1, find the perfect outfit. Step 2, ruin it. Step 3, keep your cool because you booked your ride ahead. Introducing Uber Reserve. Get your ride right.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin with itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now, I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not a steroid, topical, or injection. It's one pill once a day. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. And they felt dramatic and fast itch relief, some as early as 2 days. That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines. People 50 and on with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about Rinvoq.
Learn how happy can help you stay. You could earn millions in seconds.
This means so much for our family.
There's no better feeling than winning. I don't know how we're going to get through without you. I want to thank you for everything. Drop it!
This thing can change our life.
Love that I have for my family. I'm the richest man in the world.
Whose mom didn't like either of them? Who wrestled with passing the third grade? Do you ever wish you could swipe left on people in real life?
Cruz died that his best friend Emily reached out to his brother. She wanted to share her suspicions about Brenda.
He said, please don't talk to my parents about this right now. They have enough going on. They cannot handle it.
So a week and a half went by before Emily Jacob and another close friend sat down in the family living room.
One of them said, should we show her? And I said, well, no, you're showing me now. And so they showed me this text message that said, I want to die. And I said, Jonathan didn't write that. And they said, we know. We know he would never write that.
So who did? Pam already knew about Brenda's jealous streak, but says she was stunned at how, on the last day of Jonathan's life, Brenda demonstrated so much fury towards Emily.
I knew there was a problem with Emily, but I didn't realize it was that ongoing.
What would your advice have been if he had mentioned that to you? Run.
Yes, that would have been enough for me to know that was unreasonable jealousy.
By far, Emily and Jacob's biggest revelation was Jonathan's plan to break up with Brenda on the very day he was shot. You were unaware of that until that moment.
Yeah, I was. The first time I'd heard any of that, that was pretty much the game changer.
This was the moment Jonathan's parents became convinced it was Brenda who had shot their son. It's not uncommon for families of people who have taken their own lives to not want to admit that they missed some of the signs. And so they start looking for someone or something else to blame. That's not what's going on here.
No.
Absolutely not.
The signs you blame yourself for missing are all about Brenda.
Absolutely.
Danny also blamed herself. The woman she now suspected of being her brother's killer had been her best friend. That has to be a terrible feeling.
Definitely makes me question my ability to read people. I mean, I trusted this person.
The family's suspicions were actually just catching up with what some investigators suspected from the get-go. Police already knew about the tension over Emily. They heard about it from Brenda that night.
I just don't even like that girl.
Right away, Brenda told this police officer she and Jonathan had been arguing about Emily.
Is this a friend, an ex-girlfriend, or what?
She gave more details to a sergeant at the police station, including her take on that phone call with Emily.
I just said when I talked to her, I told her that she was acting sad.
Brenda said she became even more upset when Jonathan stopped taking her calls after that. So she said she went to find him at his apartment. That was late afternoon, Brenda said. They argued, but it was brief. And everything was fine as they got ready for dinner. Brenda did not mention anything to police about a breakup. She did say they'd been talking about moving in together, and she worried Jonathan was getting cold feet. She said even though things were calm as they ordered dinner, Jonathan later mentioned Emily's name again, leading to another quarrel. That's when she said Jonathan told her to cover her ears. And then came the gunshot.
I stood up right away. And I saw she was dead. And he was just dead.
Was that the whole story? Or had the stress and jealousy boiled over into violence?
Now you're going to be as honest with me as you can. Alright? Did you shoot him? Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
So when we do our investigation, is it going to show that he shot himself? If we needed to take your DNA, do you have a problem with us doing that?
The sergeant and another officer swabbed Brenda's hands for blood and a gunshot residue test. They also took her sweatshirt to test for blood spatter. It was all packed up for...
Simply innocent. I am clearly innocent. Tell me, Dan, what's it gonna take? Letters from Sing Sing. found her husband murdered and his body was in a field.
They said that he had been shot. It was unbelievable. I couldn't comprehend. I remember telling my mom, like, I'm going to get you through this. And she looked at me and died and said, Jessica, how am I supposed to get through the rest of my life?
What do you find in his phone?
Private pictures sent to him.
Were they his wife?
They were not his wife.
I was not the kind of wife that went through my husband's phone.
Did you think that maybe this other woman on Todd's phone might have had something to do with his murder?
We don't believe that. We begin to get video from several different locations. We see someone, same clothing, glasses, a hat, going from place to place.
They started asking me a lot of questions. Do you recognize the gait? Do you recognize the way she's walking?
Whoever this woman is has had this murder planned, and very well planned.
A dangerous killer, a devious plot. Who was behind it?
I came as a shock, complete shock.
I'm Lester Holt, and this is Dateline. Here's Andrea Canning with Point Blank.
Look carefully and ask yourself whether you can trust your own eyes. Is this video of a man? A woman? A murderer? Did you think that was the killer in the video?
I don't know.
Is it the same person here and here and here or not? Hard to say. And yet, everything hinged so much on these videos. Everything included a murder trial.
We, the jury.
That would be years in the making. And a mystery that began with a body in an almond grove just west of Bakersfield, California.
Farm workers found the body of Todd Chance in his almond orchard the morning of August 25th.
The year was 2013. Todd Chance was 45. His wife, Janae, an elementary school principal, said looking back, nothing stood out about that ordinary Sunday morning.
August 25th. How did the day start out? It was a typical day that was after the first week of school, and I was working on my school safe plan. I had gotten up early that morning, came downstairs, and I was surprised to hear Todd up, and he just said that he was going to go to the convention. When he walked out the door, I just said, later.
That was around 7:30 or 8, Janae said. She turned back to her work and said at some point her two teenage daughters, Sarah, then 15, and Samantha, then 13, came downstairs.
I was with laundry, and I had a delivery coming between 10 and 12 a day. The girls were down, the groceries up together.
Later, Janae's oldest daughter from her first marriage, Jessica, stopped by to pick up some old furniture. Jessica was there when detectives arrived.
They had pulled up, and I looked at my mom, and she was just like, Jessica, wait here, because we all three were outside by the car, because I had them stay out there with me. And I just remember thinking that that's not normal.
You have a difficult identification to make.
Yes, we do.
Kern County homicide detective Kevin Brewer headed from the almond grove to the Chance house.
When me and my partner pulled up to the residence, Mrs. Chance was outside. We asked her to come inside. I had her sit down on a couch.
I totally assumed it was a car accident.
But the detective told her Todd's death was no accident.
They said that he had been shot and that he had been left.
Shot twice in the chest at point-blank range. Janae's husband of 17 years had been murdered.
That is a shocking piece of news. It was unbelievable. I couldn't comprehend why would anyone want to kill him. That must have been immediately went through your mind. Right. He was such a likable guy. He didn't hang out with the rough crowd. Now, he wasn't into drugs. He wasn't into, gambling. It's very that way.
Soon, her daughters heard the awful news too.
Jessica was crying the whole time. And my mom was, she was shocked.
It was a murder investigation. The clock was ticking, and the detectives needed information. Shock or not, Janae had to help.
Janae, correct? I was responsible for Janae.
One of the detectives reported the conversation as they asked Janae what Todd had been planning that day. She said Todd told her he was going to pick up his dad on the way to the gun show. Soon, Todd's parents, Travis and Diana, arrived.
We got officers with badges and guns saying all of this. You're looking around at the people in the house, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, this can't be true. This is a dream.
Detectives had questions for them too, trying to establish a timeline. They soon noticed something wasn't right.
The last you heard when he spoke to Rose's gun show this morning, I haven't talked to him today.
Travis hadn't talked with his son that morning about the gun show. And there was something else. Todd's body was found west of town, the opposite direction from the gun show.